Good morning. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles, brought to you by Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku and Facebook Live. So, first thing you guys got to do is you got to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. Second of all, we've got our glorious host here, Mr. Tats, who's going to be our star analyst today, and I will be the host for the day, Mr. Donald Stewart. So, Mr. Tats, how are you feeling today?
Little wired after yesterday, hyped up, amped up, however you want to put it. I was so looking forward to doing the show today, as I am every day. But today was just a little extra special after the gift that is the Minnesota Twins for the Yankees. Because if there was ever a team, we went out west. We were supposed to roll through those teams in the bottom of the divisions, and we were supposed to just, get our number back up in the division lead, and we weren't able to get it done. And here we are. We come home, we get the Twins, and everything feels right again. And it's just a beautiful day.
Mets fan, thank you so much for your comment. So happy to see the New York teams played a little better baseball yesterday. I know it's been a little bit of a tough stretch for your Mutts and for obviously us as well. But yeah, it was a good day. We're a little happier today. I'm excited to talk about this team. So first of all, we've got to talk about our baby Bombers. They stepped up, man. The Lost Boys have been found. The Lost Boys were discovered in AAA. They've been called up, and Aaron Boone didn't know what to do with them, but decided to know what to do with them yesterday, which was a long time coming. And we saw the benefits of it. So game one was a big, big day for our future shortstop, ladies and gentlemen. We have it. His name is Peraza. Tats, 3 hits in game one. Expert defense, smooth as silk defensively. And then game two, also really, really strong. What were your thoughts on Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswald Peraza?
Well, Peraza, I think it's one of those the fans feel like all their frustration and the clamoring and the harassing management to call this kid up. We feel like, all right, we're smarter than you for a change. You are not, we showed the fans that really wanted Peraza up, and the way Peraza played yesterday showed that Cashman is no longer the smartest person in baseball, because he held off bringing this kid up for so long, and look what he was able to do. One day, I don't want to get too ahead of it, but it's one of those, it was about time that they really got this kid to, really show what he can do when players get consistent play time. Because I think that's the key thing. You didn't, when they first called him up, they were using him off the bench. We were saying a couple of days ago, if you're going to bring him up, use him. Well, yesterday they used him the right way, and we saw the payoff for it. On a defensive end, putting him in, at shortstop, which contributed to his being comfortable at the plate. It just all came together for him, and it's about time the Yankees did something right.
How about Oswaldo Cabrera? Now, he really played phenomenal defense in right field. We cannot talk about enough the fact that he's only had a few games in right field in his career, a very, very young career to this point, and he was terrific in right field. His WAR for defense is now off the charts. Also, he's making plays left and right. He's got a brilliant arm, and he's throwing guys up everywhere. So really, really proud of our man right there. Let's get my man Tony Clark. Now, he is a loyal supporter of the show, of the Boys in the Big Apple, which I'm on Mondays with the Twins. So thank you very much, Tony Clark. What up, Donald? Thank you so much, man. Thanks so much for tuning in. We've got Mets fan here. Peraza's MLB ready. Question is, what do you do when Volpe is ready? Is Peraza a trade candidate, or do you move Peraza to third or second? Great question. That is something that is going to be a very interesting debate because, from what I know, Volpe is killing it in AAA right now. I believe he's 8 for his last 16. He is on fire, so he'll be ready next year from all intents and purposes. So you really want
it's going to be a really interesting offseason with the way that all these young kids are playing.
The right side of our infield could be set with Volpe and Peraza. So it just depends on who's more comfortable where. From what I'm seeing, Peraza looks incredibly comfortable at short. So Volpe may be a third base candidate. We will wait and see, but that's obviously for our baseball ops department, who we've never really fully trusted to this point. So we'll have to wait and see and make sure that they do the right thing.
Well, I think the bigger question is not so much with Peraza and Volpe. It's what do you do with Cabrera? Because he is playing the outfield very, very well. So I think that's going to be the wild card in the off season of how the Yankees fit him into the equation and where they're going to give him a consistent playing spot. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to really, really pay attention to as the months go on.
Cabrera is very solid in right field. As an outfielder myself, I see one thing he needs to work on. He needs to learn to long hop the catcher when throwing runners out. Well, I mean, he's throwing a ton of runners out at this point. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, okay, good point. Good comments all around.
Yeah, I think as far as what Nick's saying with throwing the runners, that is something that'll be cleaned up. He already has the skill and the range to get to the catcher. The way he releases the ball, that's something I think is can easily be worked on over time, and that'll clean up. It'll clean itself up where he'll have just be a little more sharp, but he's still just as effective as Judge was. Not that he's going to be able to replace Judge at right, but you're still seeing when you have a viable arm like that can hit the catcher, even if it is on the hop, it shuts down the running game.
Miguel Batista, morning, boys. Thank you so much, Miguel. Like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, man. I'm loving these comments this morning. I think everybody is pumped. This is great. So we had a great day for our kids. Also, Florio, man, I think he battled as well. Obviously, he doesn't maybe have the headlines that our two young stars have, but he hustled, man. He almost won the game in game one. He was that far away, dived like Brett Gardner. He was so close to making that play. You have to give credit to Correa for that incredible play he made because he almost won the game there. But no, I quite liked what I saw from Florio. He got a couple of hits here and there. I liked his bunt for his single as well. He brought a lot of energy. I just thought all the kids brought a lot of energy. They fought like their lives depended on it. And if you want to look at if the Yankees win the division, look no farther than this 2-game set that we had. It really this could be the difference. There's just they brought a different energy, and yeah. So man, get to Cole and that fastball yesterday, unhittable when Cole has that movement on that fastball. Looked like a damn rise ball. Well. He is doing our show for us because Garrett Cole was the next topic of conversation. 14 strikeouts, my man. He has been on fire lately. It was so important confidence-wise. So important confidence-wise that he had his ace showing. Taps, what did you see from Garrett Cole?
This is the pitcher that we signed. That's the first statement that should be made. This is especially after when you're watching game one and you're seeing how Tyone wasn't able to get deep into the game. It was an extra inning game. You used a lot of arms out of the pen, and now you're watching Cole and you're going, "What Cole are we gonna get?" Because if the game starts 2 minutes later, sometimes it throws him off because he's very fickle with that. He was able to give us, solid innings, strikeouts, really just shut that lineup, the Twins down. It really did, except for the mistake to Correa. The Twins had no answer for him. They could not touch him at all. So that was such a big help, and it took the pressure off of Bone, where he didn't have to figure out, all right, who could I squeeze an inning out of. So it's one of those. This is where Cole needs to just go. Okay, the postseason's right around the corner. I'm feeling good. Nothing's I'm just focused, and let's finish this year off.
Here's what the difference was in this start. Garrett Cole prioritized his fastball.
Yeah.
This was something that had to be prioritized. I think he was overusing some of his off speed in previous outings. He trusted his fastball, and he got the results this time, man. His fastball was fire. It was pinpoint location. It was hitting the hundreds pretty routinely. Exactly, Miguel Batista. I kept looking good at third base in his natural position. Yeah. What a difference it is when Aaron Boone actually puts people in the positions in which to succeed. IKF, when playing third base today, 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, grand slam, game-winning run in game 1, good defense. It really is night and day that you just saw. IKF just looked a hell of a lot more natural at third base. Now, let's not forget, that is his natural position. He's playing out of position when he's playing short. Put him in his natural position, he looks more comfortable, and his bat was more comfortable.
But was I the only one that when IKF hit the grand slam, looked at the screen again to make sure it was the right batter that I thought hit it? Because I actually did a double take. No, and that was IKF at the plate, right? Because we were screaming for months how he just hasn't been able to elevate the ball. And here it is. He finally gets elevation on it, and it goes out of the ballpark. It was just... I got very confused on who was at the plate at the first split second. And
you get confused at the best of times, man.
What happened?
You get confused at the best of times anyway.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't take much. Anybody that's followed our show knows it does not take a lot to get me out of rhythm. So,
Miguel Batista, I know, man. No, his swing, man, that was, and I loved his confidence. He was like, oh, yeah, I do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of pimped it a little bit. You know, he crushed it, and he was just like, yeah, I do this stuff. It was like, wow, man. You know, he had no home runs the first 100 at-bats as a Yankee, but now, yeah, he's like, yeah, I do this shit. Put me at third base. Good things happen. So, that was a big day for Mr. IKF.
The other thing about he had a little pimp on the home run, but when he was running the bases, he just had his head down and just went base to base. Did not over celebrate. So, good morning, Josh. So yeah, it was
there. It goes. I like it. Love the energy here from our viewers. So so we got Garrett Cole, man. Let's get back to this Garrett Cole. He leads the league in strikeouts. I think people were overdoing this whole Garrett Cole struggles thing because, as I say, before this start, he was 1-4 record-wise, which is unfortunate, but it was kind of misleading. It was kind of DeGrom of previous years because his ERA was just around 2 for his previous 5 starts, which is perfectly exactly what you'd need from an ace. But he finally got a little bit of run support, and he looked very, very comfortable. As I say, it was all about his fastball. Work off your fastball, good things happen.
Well, that's what we've been seeing. Like you said, the last few starts, you were starting to see that some of the things that were broken with him, where not trusting his pitches, working off of his off speed rather than his fastball, you were starting to see the problems being fixed game by game. And it's almost like everything collaboratively worked together and clicked yesterday. And yeah, it's the backward case. That was another thing. It's this the swings and misses, the caught lookings, and he was just everything worked for him yesterday, and it was just a relief to see because we've been waiting for this for a while. And what also helps is run support. That's a big thing. A lot of these pitchers have not been getting run support over the last few months. So I have been saying, and I tweeted it out. I say it on the show amongst friends. Is if they were not going to be putting up runs, I will not blame any of the pitches because they cannot pitch perfect games every night, waiting for the offense to get lucky, and stop over swinging on the ball. So it's about time that it seems everything is finally coming together.
Yes, I completely agree. It was nice to see. It was really important, optics wise, that our ace brought it. 14 strikeouts, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Twins are no joke. I mean, obviously they're a joke against the Yankees, but in general, they've had a pretty good year. So, I think we should definitely give a shout out to our man, our ace, Garrett Cole. Now, game one. Well, let's go back to game one. Game one was wild. I enjoyed it, but it was probably not good if you got any heart problems, and probably not very good if you got any kind of disposition towards bad baseball, because there was a lot of bad baseball that we saw, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So Guzman, we have to comment on Guzman here because
do we have to? Do we have to really?
I know we're a little positive today. We're a little more positive today. I like that, but we have to mention Guzman. He gets called up. He's a journeyman, and his very first game as a Yankee gets the cleanup spot. And boy, did he clean up. 0 for 5. But the best example was when the base is loaded and extras. And he grunted in double play, ducked, and lollygagged it to first. Yeah, Miguel Batista, Ronald Guzman doing his best Gallo. Thank you, guys. Let's get some comments in the chat about Mr. Guzman / Gallo. He was super bad. There's bad, and then there's Guzman bad, and it was wild, man. I mean, ducking as he went to first, and then he just was and then he just getting stuff thrown out, double play. That was unbelievable. I'm shocked we won the game after that.
It was almost like we were trying to hand it to them. They kept trying to hand it to us. We were having trouble scoring a run, and they had 4 errors in the game. They made 4 errors, and it still took how many innings to get the win?
12.
If the bases loaded with nobody out, and they don't score, and you're going, shit, here we go again. It's like, we were feeling so good coming back after coming home, playing the Twins, like we said, and it was, we were like, all right, this is going to suck, and they were able to pull it off. Why? Because of the young kids that we were bringing up, wanting them to not have to feel the pressure and be the saving names on, the saving graces. They are saving games for us right now, whether on the field or at the plate. So, I mean, hats off to these kids because they're doing what the major leaguers couldn't.
So I want comments in the chat as to comparisons to Guzman. Has there been a worse debut? I want to hear some. Let's hear it. I'm thinking maybe Carter. There's been other really terrible first basemen that we had.
Yeah,
he was super bad.
Well, that's the other thing. There was no other first baseman they could call up except for Guzman. Really?
Well, we don't have it. But Brian Cashman has basically got no first baseman in the entire system, man. Not on the 40-man anyway. So that's why he had to sign this guy, this joker. Our first base situation is basically Marwin Gonzalez and DJ LeMahieu.
Well,
when Rizzo ain't playing.
Because now we have, LeMahieu who's going on the IL. Rizzo. So, where do you go now? Now what do you do?
I know you can't play Guzman again. Holy mackerel, you can't play Guzman again. I would ask somebody from the stands to maybe take part if they want to see if they could put a glove on. I mean, I can't think of anybody worse.
You better catch the next flight back to the States.
No problem, man. I'm there. I got a glove. I got a first baseman. I'm a better first baseman than Guzman from the looks of things. All
right, but seriously, that was just as embarrassing. Um, yeah,
Miguel Batista. Here we go. We got a good comment from Miguel Batista. They should call up Volpe. I want to see the kid. Well, I think it might be a little early for Volpe this year, but I'm pretty sure by spring training he should be um, making the team coming out of camp next year. I think he could very well be coming out of camp next year. I don't think there's any excuse not to. Let's just be honest about it. We passed on every shortstop in the free agent market, and precisely to give Volpe and Peraza a chance. Now is your opportunity. I don't want any more messing around. These guys are the truth. These guys are the future. So I want both of them to come out of camp next year, and they could be the right side of our infield.
Yeah, it's like I said, to bring up Volpe now when you already called up Peraza, I think it was going to be one or the other. Peraza, since the beginning of the year, has been defensively ready for the major leagues. We're starting to see that his bat is probably just as ready. Better be the next A-Rod. That's an interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Listen, Brian Cashman put an unbelievable amount of pressure on the kid. I mean, you don't want to play Monday morning quarterback, but it's quite obvious that when you saw how smooth as silk Correa is, he would have been a really nice stopgap, especially considering the contract that he signed with the Twins. He could have been that stopgap for a couple of years for us, and then been taking the pressure off Peraza and Volpe. But as you say, man, the Yankees put a lot of pressure on this guy, and he needs to step up. But it's nothing to do with Volpe. It ain't Volpe's fault. He's just got to develop in his own time. And some people develop quicker than others. Certainly, for what I'm seeing, Volpe looks legit. I mean, I went to a Somerset Patriots game this summer. Looks very, very comfortable. He's got a vicious swing, vicious bat. And he's carrying it on a triple A. As I mentioned, he was batting 500 this past couple of weeks up in triple A, so he looks ready to go. Tatsy, excited for Mr. Volpe?
Oh, I'm definitely excited for Volpe. Who wouldn't be? You know, we've been hearing about this kid. This is why we got stuck with IKF, so far this season at shortstop, is because we don't need, major league caliber shortstops because we have Volpe coming. And the pressure they put on him, I think that's why I would actually prefer them using Peraza over Volpe, because there's too much hype around him. I think if he got the September call up and it did not work, where he still just needed a little more time, that it would damage it. It might damage his stock. It might damage the faith in the fans in this kid. And it'll also, I think it would definitely disturb the plans for the offseason. So let him come up next year fresh start of the season. That's when they should be using Volpe.
Baby, I want the baby bombers, man. I want Ozzy, I want Peraza, and I want Volpe. I want all three of them to have a big role in this team coming into next year, because the reason why I'm saying that is because the Yankees seem to be a little bit caught in between. They're a World Series caliber team, but they don't go all out to bring in the player necessary to win a World Series, because they want to protect their youth, but then they don't give the youth a chance. And when they do, they don't put them in the best position to succeed. That all needs to change. You need to pick a lane. You need to pick a direction. The Yankees will always be competitive as long as they re-sign Aaron Judge. And that brings us to our next point, because it would be remiss of us in the last 5 minutes, while we're still on Northeast Streaming Sports for the next 5 minutes before we continue on YouTube. Aaron Judge hits another one, man. It's unbelievable. He is like so close to Maris's record. Tats, are you excited? Do you think we're going to see history very, very soon?
I think if you're in the state of mind that he's not going to do it, then you have not been paying attention all season. The question is going to become how many at bats is he going to be allowed to swing? I think that's where it's going to come into play. We were joking yesterday that we're waiting for him to get an off day. because they want to get him off his feet. So um, then you also have the other team doing the favor, taking care of it themselves. He doesn't have to worry about straining himself, swinging the bat, because they're not pitching to him. And it's exactly what Nick was saying when he was, hanging out with us on the
And
show.
we've got Nick here. I admit I was wrong when I said Otani was MVP. Judge is the clear MVP. Yankees are not even a playoff team without Judge. You are right that the Yankees are not a playoff team without Judge. That is correct.
That's been my
Um,
argument.
and it's good that there's finally someone who admits that they were crazy to think that Otani is the MVP. There's no question that Otani is a once in a generation player. There's never an argument. If there is a player that I like outside of Aaron Judge, it's Otani and maybe Mookie Betts. I love watching Otani. He is the future of baseball, but let's be freaking clear here, man. Otani's not played a relevant game since May. And Judge is carrying this Yankee team, the Bronx Bombers, 27-time world champion, the biggest team in sport by himself, kicking and screaming at times. So we have to sign him long term. I don't care what the price is, man. I really don't care because the Yankees can pay it. The Yankees should not be afraid to pay whatever it takes to make sure that Aaron Judge is here for the next 7 years minimum.
No, it's. I don't even think it's going to be a matter of the money. I think the years is what's going to. I think that's going to be the hang up in negotiations. I think that's what my gut is telling me, and what his AAV is going to be. That's unclear. It's going to be close, if not at the 40s, and he's earned every dollar of it. I really do. You're seeing, just like with his rookie year, you're seeing what he can do when he stays healthy. When, we all scream when he's not in the lineup, but when you have a chance to give him rest days and you take it and you let him get off his feet for a game, or yesterday using him as the DH so he's not in the field all the time. When he's used properly, he's a firecracker in that lineup. And all they got to do now is make sure that they keep somebody behind him in the lineup, like we've been screaming for. Keep somebody behind him in the lineup that's going to be a producer at the plate, so they don't keep walking him every at bat. Because who knows what he'd be able. Who knows? He might have had 61 by now if he has been walked 18 times.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're starting to see things like, for instance, Rocco Baldelli walked him a ton in Game 2. He didn't get a single pitch to hit in Game 2. Phil Nevin very much almost started it. He's like, I ain't pitching to this guy. This guy is absolutely unstoppable. He is now getting the Barry Bonds treatment, and Nick or dude who's commented so far today, he has said so from the start. When we had him on as a guest a number of weeks ago, he rightly pointed out, he'd be like, we should give the opposition teams should be giving him the Barry Bonds treatment because who's going to be hitting after him? And that's the truth. That's something that is a really real concern going in the rest of the year. If other teams do the Rocco Baldelli, Phil Nevin idea of intentionally walking him.
Yeah, I think you have Judge and Alonso. I think lead the league by a pretty wide margin for intentional walks this year. And of course, they're both from New York, which tells you that New York baseball is alive and well. So and it's good to see that. I
think you're giving a shout out to your friend Nick there with the Mets shout out there. Okay, so I just wanted to sign off on Northeast Streaming Sports. We're going to continue on for a few more minutes on YouTube Live. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
So we're
back on YouTube now. Thanks so much for everyone who's been commenting. It's been really fun to this point. Lots of interaction. We love it. Please like and subscribe. All the good stuff. So Tats, Game 1 was an adventure. Game 2,
that's an understatement.
It was a little bit more comfortable. little bit more comfortable. What did you
Yeah,
think?
what I liked with game one was with game two is even though we were down 1-0, when you had the way that Cole looked even in those early innings, you almost saw you're like, okay, the Yankees just game one they were able to put up a couple of runs. Game two looked like a more comfortable lineup to watch. So you almost were able to see, okay, they're gonna figure out how to get a run across to at least tie the game and just kind of get the reset button going until they can push another run. Because it really, just like we saw it in the game, when you're watching it, you were able to see that they were not, Cole was just gonna he had the team on his back saying, "Don't worry, I got this." You just put up some runs and then goes and I'll take care of their lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like we were joking around, with the IKF Grand Slam, that proved to be for a long time that was the key fact, the key part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That was the play of the game, and that was the turning point. Whatever they say on yes. So it was the other thing that
Turned a 1-zip deficit into a 4-1 lead,
yeah,
and then Garrett Cole could then relax and not have to nibble on the corners so much because we're not getting any run support. You have to be perfect. But when you get a little run support, then you can relax and then you can just let loose. And that's what Garrett Cole did.
yeah, it's almost like he had a little more fire in him after the Grand Slam because he was like, okay, I don't have to be perfect. I could stick to my game plan. I could attack the hitters, and if they're lucky enough to get on base, they get on base. But it's going to be because they got lucky, not because I made a mistake. And I think when pitchers have that mentality, that's when they're at their best, and that's what we saw from Cole. We've been seeing that from a lot of the pitchers on this staff. When they pitch, it sounds so simple. When you are pitching, when you're confident, it works. You're more times than not, you're going to succeed. When you start to panic and you start to nibble and second guess your approach to a hitter, that's when you get knocked around.
Well, I've never seen Garrett Cole
How many
panic.
times have we seen from Cole where he relies too much on his off speed because he's not sure about what he doesn't want to throw his fastball because he doesn't want to get it, he doesn't want to get hit hard.
Well, I don't think the word panic is an apt word for Garrett Cole. I've never seen him panic on the mound. But as I mentioned before, if you're not getting any run support, you have to be perfect in your location, and everything has to be basically spot on. And it's unfair to put your kind of under pressure on someone. So when you get a couple of runs across, you can relax and you can use your fastball more. But when you were listening to the telecast, Michael K mentioned it. Maben mentioned it that Garrett Cole. I think even Garrett Cole's wife took him aside and was like, "Throw some fastballs, man." So it was definitely the game plan. Matt Blake really does like his pitchers throwing off speed more and his sinkers, etc., and sinkers and things like that. And I sometimes I think you just need to let it loose. Like it was one of the better things that we saw from Montas in his previous start. Work off your fastball. That is how you can succeed. Herman, work off your fastball. Then you've got that vicious curveball, and that's the best thing to do, man. So my advice to our future starters: use your fastballs more. Work off your fastball, and good things will happen.
The other part of it that really is not brought up a lot when evaluating the pitches is understanding who's umpiring that game. Can you get away with one down and away? If you clip the zone, are they going to give it to you more times than not? Are they hitter friendly? Are they pitcher friendly? Use your scouting reports. Not just on the players but the umpires. Understand who you.
Fair.
If you're going to be able to work up in the zone with your fastball, then work the upper part of the zone, make them chase it. Because everybody's so used to this stupid uppercut that the uppercut swing, a high fastball, they can't catch up to it. All they do is they pop it up.
Well, that's why it helps to have the best catcher in baseball in Trevino. He's basically playing every single day now. because he is so good at pitch framing. It's not even true how good he is pitch framing. I mean, he's stolen a number of games already just with his pitch framing ability, and it ties in with your point there, man. If an umpire is calling a certain pitch like low and away, and if you can get that close enough to the zone, and Trevino can frame it to make it look like a strike, then you get that all day long. It certainly helps. And Trevino's done that basically all year long.
Yeah, no. See that becomes another problem with the screaming for robot umps. What would that's you're pretty much going to be taking a very important part of the crafting of a catcher when you take away the pitch framing. So I think that that's something this offseason we're going to have to dive into with some of these changes that they want to make or keep talking about, because I think that as much as we scream that the umpires keep getting calls wrong, that human element of being able to frame the pitch and fool the umpire is so important to the way that these catches find their success and how we evaluate our catches.
Well, it's a very important metric that the analytics guys have certainly focused on. It's an important skill to have. Gary Sanchez is not a particularly good framer of the ball. That's why we had to move on from him.
He just danced 15 times.
Well, that's right, but it's not a skill of his. Even you saw some of that yesterday. His framing isn't particularly good, but Trevino's is elite. So we get a big upgrade there. And you're quite right, man. It's a skill. It's an important skill for a catcher. And we're lucky that we have one in Trevino. So my last question, Garrett Cole, we've established. Now, Aaron Judge, 55 home runs. He's on course for, I believe, 64, which is unbelievable. What is going to happen in the offseason? Do you think, in your heart of hearts, that he wants to go to California, or do you think that he will stay? Heart of hearts.
Heart of hearts, he stays a Yankee next year. I think that he understands, and this is what he needs to realize if he has not already. You could do what he's doing on any team. It's amazing what he's been able to do. When you do it, when you have a career lined up the way that he does, and you're a Yankee, that's when you become legendary.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think he understands that, and or he should understand that. There, even if the Yankees can't figure it out, and God forbid they don't win a World Series. Look what they did with Mattingly. But look at the career Mattingly had without a ring, but because he did it as a Yankee, his status is automatically elevated. I think Judge has to understand that too. And you hear a lot of players when they come over. It's one thing to do it on other teams, but when you put on that uniform, it's insane to see how that feels. Look at Tyone. Tyone was almost in tears. He couldn't wait to call his mother. When he was standing at his locker for the first time with the pinstripes. Everybody, Matt Carpenter, another one.
Yeah.
He got calls.
You're right.
He got offers before the Yankees. And he goes, well, when the Yankees call, how do you you can't,
he's like, I don't care what role I've got. I'll clean the toilets if I have to. I don't care. Does that meant that much to be a Yankee?
Wanted him.
You're right. This doesn't happen in other places. No. This legendary kind of status. It's a franchise built on legends. You walk into the hallowed Yankee Stadium. Even the new stadium, you've got banners, all the legends, all around you. You've got a Monument Park just for all the legends. We are running out of space on that wall in right field of all the retired numbers that we have. That is what sets this franchise apart. It is a franchise of legends. And if Aaron Judge beats Roger Maris's number and stays a Yankee, his number 99 will be up on that wall. And why would you turn that down to go to California? I mean, as nice as it is to surf and swim and get 100-degree weather every day, you get a chance to be a forever player, an icon. How could you turn that down for the hallowed New York Yankees? And that will be it for us today. Love the comments today. Really, really good. Loving the energy today. Once again, please like and subscribe. Do all the good stuff. Ring that notification bell so whenever we get a video out to you, you can check us out. Once again, thank you so much, guys. We will be with you tomorrow.
We do go live 9:30 to 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday on Facebook, YouTube. We're now on Twitch. So there's a lot of avenues to catch us, and we do. This is a Monday through Friday operation here.
Operation. It's a Monday through Friday operation. Miguel Batista, take it easy, boys. Take it easy, man.
Thank you for the comments. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So, as we always say, wear your pinstripes with pride, play hard.